Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I hope you've been having a wonderful day. It's been very exciting where I live. We're getting all sorts of snow, so that's exciting. As long as you don't drive, then it's okay. My passion is to help you create your best, unique, most inspired, exciting life. The life where you wake up in the morning and you can't wait to get out of bed and get to your day so you can do what it is you really want to do. And I help people create those lives in all sorts of different ways. One, I'm a medium, and as a medium, I connect to our loved ones on the other side, and they come through and they give messages to me for you to tell you what you might need to know. They can tell you how much they love you. They can tell you what's going on in their lives. They might talk a little bit about what's going on in your life right now. You just never know what they're going to talk about. I also help people as a certified spiritual life coach. And as a life coach, I help people take steps to move forward in their lives. So people who are having problems, maybe they're stressed out, they're overwhelmed, they have too much to do, they have a project they want to do and they can't finish it. I help them come up with steps and ideas so they can move forward, and they get really empowered with coaching because they realize that they do have the power to create the life of their dreams. And those are the two ways that I really help people the most. And on this show, what we do is I give a little coaching tip every week, and I talk to a couple of callers and see what they want to talk about. It's always a good time. Today's coaching tip is on living with uncertainty. In the last, 2-3 weeks, it seems as though so many people I'm talking to are complaining about all sorts of things in their lives that they don't know what to do. They're uncertain about certain outcomes, and they're worried about things. And what happens when we're uncertain about something, we don't know what's going to happen, we have no control over the situation possibly, there are too many unknowns. And when there are too many unknowns, we get scared, we get confused, we worry, our brains start going in circles over and over again as we think too much. We start to obsess over the outcomes of things. It gets so bad sometimes that we can't even be positive at all. We don't know what could happen. We don't know what we could do. We don't know how things are going to work out. So it's hard to be positive when so many things are weighing on you. And I've noticed too, everybody has this. Everybody has experienced uncertainty, and it can be for all sorts of things. Finances, it can be you're having a problem with your housing situation. It can be a relationship. Lots of times it's a health concern. And our first reaction when we have all this uncertainty is we'll complain about it because that's easy. And so when we complain, though, it doesn't do anything. It's just creating more of that same energy, and it's getting us more and more confused because we're just going in circles in our head again. And we might end up trying to find somebody to give us answers. We might go to somebody and ask them to help us, and they may or may not be able to help us. We might get depressed. We might start feeling like nothing matters, nothing makes a difference. And we might even feel that no one cares, especially if you are relying on someone else to help you with your problems and they're not coming through the way you want them to. And this becomes such a vicious cycle where we just can't stop. And so what can we do? We have to live with this uncertainty because this is the way it is. You can be miserable, but maybe there's something we can do to make it a little bit more manageable. And I'm looking back at my life, and I can see so many different times where I've had to deal with uncertainty for all sorts of different reasons, probably as many as you have right now, and you're thinking in your head. And every single time I've had that, I've learned that there have been a couple key points, really. One, very important one, I've gotten through it every single time, okay? I never got stuck in an uncertain place and stayed there forever. I've always gotten through it, and it's important to remember that because it helps you with resilience. It helps you realize sometimes you just have to keep going. But I've also learned that sometimes when I get very uncertain about things and I start thinking and obsessing and getting confused, the thing to do is to take a step back. Just slow down, take a step back, and it's a waiting time. It's almost as though we have to let the uncertainty evolve and come out into a different answer, a different solution. And we try to control things because that's what we do. And when you have this uncertainty, there are a lot of times there are things you can't control. You can't control the health of another person. You can't control the outcome necessarily. So what you want to do is step back, stop trying to control, stop trying to make things happen a certain way, and just wait it out. Start looking for things that are important for you. All of these experiences I've had, every single time when I've been confused about something, I've always had more clarity after. It's almost as though I recognized that there were more important things than worrying. So I would maybe focus on the things that I really liked that made me happy. As simple as going for a walk outside in the sun. That could make me happy. You sit down and read a book for a few minutes. Sometimes that would do it. And it's the simpler things in life that frequently help us be more happy. And I can go back to a situation in particular where years ago I wanted to have children and it wasn't happening. It just, no matter what we did, it just wasn't happening. You go to the medical route and all that stuff. And this went on, the uncertainty of this. Would I ever have children? It was a big question, as you can imagine. Would I ever have them? I didn't know. How was it going to happen? All sorts of things. And this period of time went on for me for 4 years. 4 years. Can you imagine? And it was a horrible, depressing time. And back then, I didn't know what I know now about shifting my mind and shifting my thoughts to a more empowering perspective. But because of that time, I did learn so much about myself. And I learned, like I said before, I got through it. Yes, amen. But also, I developed so much more gratitude. So when my children did come, I was very grateful that they were in my life. I also learned all sorts of things that other people have these issues as well. So it's created more empathy and compassion within myself to recognize that other people have these problems too. And to give people hope, to say, you know what, you can do this. It's okay. It helps us shift our perspective to find out maybe what's more important for us. Maybe it's more important for us to focus on our friends and family and recognize how important they are to us rather than worrying about our problems to the exclusion of them. Maybe it's more important that we live in the moment rather than thinking about the past or the future or possible outcomes that may or may not happen. We have to live in uncertainty in a way that is almost a healing for us, where we have to sit and just allow ourselves to be. And that really is my coaching tip of the day, is to just sit, slow down, take a step back, wait it out. It's okay. It's going to come out the way it's supposed to come out. And every other time you've had an uncertainty, there was clarity at the end, wasn't there? So I know you agree with me. How's that? That's like teaching right now. I know you agree with me. So this will help. So that is my coaching tip of the day. So if you're just joining in, I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and I would love to connect with you. And you can connect with me at psychicmediumcolleen.com or on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vanderzyden. And I do love to hear all of your stories. And sometimes you send me some very interesting emails, and I will respond as soon as I can. So feel free to do that. But now what we're going to do is move on to our first caller, who is Melissa in Vermont. Melissa, how are you today?
I am doing well.
Good.
It's cold out.
It is cold out.
We just got a dust and a snow.
Yes, and I think there's a big storm coming your way.
Yes, there is.
Yes, I think it hits here tomorrow, and it just keeps going, so you can have it. I'll send it there early. So what can I help you with tonight? Are you looking for something in particular?
I have a lot going on. I don't know if you can just do a general and see what it comes forth as far as things that need to be addressed more importantly than what I think.
Okay. There is a lot going on with you, because I'm feeling a lot of stuff in my body, and lots of times when I get that kind of feeling, I recognize it's like stress symptoms within the person I'm talking to. And I'm also feeling the presence of a gentleman coming in who he's given me the impression he had some heart lung issues. Okay. And he does feel a little bit older, but not as old as I'd like him to be. He feels like he might be 76, 77 in that area.
Passed over?
Sorry?
Passed over?
Yes, passed over.
My papa.
Okay. Your father? And he had
No,
something
my
going on
grandfather.
Grandfather? He had something going on in his chest area then, too?
Yeah, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is what
Okay.
he was diagnosed as.
Okay, because I feel a lot of pressure, a lot of breathing kind of things, all sorts of stuff going on in there. And, with him, though, I feel such a sense of humor with him. And he tells me he wasn't quite as humorous as he got closer to passing, but he's showing me before, and he's telling me that he could tell a pretty good story. Do you recall him telling good stories?
Yeah.
Because it seems as though
he was a storyteller.
Yeah, it seems to be important because when he's talking about it, I get such a sense of, I would probably believe his stories. Yeah, I'd be a little bit naive, and I'd probably believe that kind of thing. And he thinks that's the funniest thing ever, and he just loves doing that. And and when he's talking about stories, it is interesting because he's talking about the stories you're telling yourself. He seems to be rather wise. Okay, and he's talking about the stories you tell yourself. He says to make sure that you're not doing kind of what I was talking about, and you get how our minds go and go and go, and we just get in that cycle and we can't get out of it. And he's saying to try to shift some of that for you, because sometimes you get a little bit of a cycle going in your head. Do you worry quite a bit, and it just seems to just go,
and turn into a snowball?
Yeah. Exactly.
And currently I'm in that place right now.
And it's like this. My head just wants to spin round and round and round with you. And it's interesting too, because this is what I'm talking about tonight is taking the step back and just being and just healing. And by healing, I don't mean physical healing necessarily, but lots of times when things are going on in our lives, and there's so many things going on at once, what's happening is these things are all coming up. It's like they're bubbling up, and then they're just they have to be removed from your life one way or another. The worry has to go away. The problems have to resolve in one way or another. And if we let them do it more naturally rather than trying to control it, it's better. He says, he just told me that you don't much care for people telling you what to do.
No.
And he says that you've always been one that does things your own way, and you can it's the stubbornness in there, and it's the getting stuck in a process in your own mind. Okay, he does tell me though that you have someone around you who is a good support for you, and who actually does listen to you, like really truly does listen to you, and gives you appropriate responses back. And he gives me.
Is this a family member or a friend?
It feels like a female. Okay, and it feels like somebody you would talk to with honestly and openly. And he's saying that that's a very good person to be talking to, because it helps you balance some of your thoughts that are going on in your head. Okay. He's telling me that he didn't want to. Boy, you had a very hard time after he passed, huh? Because he's telling me that he didn't want to leave you in particular, because he gives me the impression you guys were pretty tight. Were you very close when he was here in the physical?
He was like my dad.
Because there's such a caretaking sense about him, because he doesn't want to leave you because you need him feeling, and because it's almost as though he was like a rock for you, support, stability. And so he's apologizing to you for leaving you, because he wants to take care of you still. And he's telling me he can still do this from the other side. He can still do this. And he says that he says you can be a good talker too. When you get going, you can talk. And he says you just haven't been talking to him as much as you used to be. And so he wants you talking to him more and more and more. And he says you can dump everything on him. And that's actually not a bad idea. He is smart. Dump everything on him. Tell him everything that's going on. Tell him, what your problems are. Tell him what your worries are. And then ask him to help you, and ask him to help you take care of the problems, because he still taking care of you. And this may very well help you kind of get rid of some of that worry feel that's going on, because you can't control
right
everything.
Now, relationship-wise, I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
And all I've been asking for is clarity with the person I'm with.
Yeah. You still have, oh boy, you still have, I don't even know what I want to say. It's kind of like it's an attraction, but are you really, how can I put this politely? Are you really ignoring all sorts of signs? I just feel like you're ignoring things, like you really know what's going on.
And I guess I just want to be validated that.
Yeah, it's like you know what's happening.
What I believe to be true is what it is, which is we're done, and we're on two totally different planes.
Right, and
that's
I
wind up overthinking a lot of things.
Yeah,
and
well, that's
with
I
everyone
understand.
else, I have really good gut intuition.
It feels like you're trying to hold on to something that's not there anymore. That there's
what I first latched onto isn't there anymore. No.
Yeah,
completely different.
And when your grandfather is talking about this, he's talking about what you deserve in your life, and he is talking about the relationship, what you deserve, what kind of relationship you deserve. You deserve to be adored. You deserve to have somebody who loves you with all their heart. And you shouldn't have to compromise how you feel to have that. You know what I'm saying? He tells me you're a strong woman, okay? It's not like you're a wimp here, okay? You're very strong. And the thing is, too, you give other people the benefit of the doubt to a fault, and then some. You might want to go past that. You're a very accepting person, and you try your hardest. And when people don't give that back to you, it's a little bit disconcerting for you, and I get such a sense, and I'm back to the healing thing again. I get such a sense of this is a time for you of healing. You have so many positive qualities and attributes that are only going to get stronger as time goes on for you. They're just going to be stronger and stronger. He tells me to make sure I tell you how much he loves you, okay? This is your grandfather I'm talking about. And he wants me to say very clearly how much he loves you, and he's here. I mean, he is here supporting you as much as anyone can be, from the physical and in the spiritual as well. I mean, he is a very strong spiritual presence, and he does really want to take care of this, and he really wants to uplift you and have you feel like you are your best at all times. He says, don't worry so much about the fallout of things.
How this relationship's going to fall out.
Yeah, don't worry about it so much, but just be. It's the be. Just be.
Be still and know I am God. That kind of be.
Exactly. And it's within that comes the trust that God is there, the trust that whatever's going to happen is the best for you, and the trust that it will work out and you'll be okay at the end of it. It's not like, your life will be over or anything. You're going to be okay no matter what happens. And it's only going to make your faith stronger. It's only going to make you stronger, too.
Do I need to be worried about any physical harm from this?
I'm not picking up on that. If that's even a thought in your mind, I would recommend that you make sure you talk to somebody around you, like I don't mean necessarily police or the
I've talked to
counselor.
my mom and that.
Okay. Just so somebody, another physical person, I want you to talk to them and get their opinion, objective outsider, insider opinion on that. I'm not feeling that, but if you bring that up, then obviously it's a concern. So you do want to make sure you address that, take whatever steps you need to do so you feel safe. Okay.
And there's this guy, Zach, who I've been talking to. Can you shed any light on...
Is this a guy you've been talking to with romantic interests in mind?
Yeah.
Because I heard an immediate no.
And it kind of all just happened.
I'm getting no. Okay? And that, to me, when I get it so clearly like that, means it's just not time. It's not the right time. And that's going to make your brain even crazier. It's going to interfere with what you're doing. It's going to interfere with your healing. It's going to interfere with everything. This time right now is all about you, taking care of you. And adding another energy into the mix is not going to be helpful. Okay, that doesn't mean that down the line this person is not somebody you want to talk to again. But right now, my biggest thing getting this message from your grandfather is take care of you. You. Okay. Apparently, he's very emphatic about this.
That definitely makes sense.
Yeah. It's very interesting to me, too, because when he talks about you, your grandfather, he gives me, he takes me back when you were younger. And when he takes me back when you were younger, you were an emotional child in some ways, where you're sensitive. That's part of it. You feel things very deeply. And with that, he's also talking about, he gives me the impression you're like a real sweetie pie. And in some ways, when you have this relationship with your grandfather, your grandfather showed you the different ways to be a person in the world. He showed you that it was okay that you could be safe. He showed you that. He protected you. He showed you that you were a valuable person. He showed you deserved to be valued. This man is amazing. He really is lovely.
He showed me my self-worth.
Yes, and he really, when he shows me all of this with you, he tells me that you have learned those lessons well. You learned what he taught you. You learned that you have the right to be valued. You learned that you have the right to have self-worth. You learned you have the right to stand up for yourself and be your best self. And he tells me you've learned it so well. And he says to stop putting yourself down and beating yourself up over choices where you look at them and you think they were wrong choices. And because he's telling me, no, they're not wrong choices. They're just choices that you made because you needed to learn something else. So he says, stop putting yourself down about that. Don't let it affect your mental state. Okay?
Yeah, and that just all happened today.
All today? Oh my goodness. Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Good, because that means that you have time to get this all processed. I have to tell you, I feel such a sense of I don't even know the word I want. There's a word stronger than competency, about you, but I can't think of the word right now. It's not coming in my head. And it's something about you being able to handle things and handling them well. And I get such a sense, too, of you looking back at this time down the line a little bit, maybe a few months even, which is not that long, really, when you think about it. But just 2-3 months or whatever down the line, looking back at this time and going, wow, look what I did. I'm awesome. I did it. I handled this. I really did a good job with it. And that's not to say to negate your emotions or anything, because you really, really, really have to feel your emotions. You can't deny them. Don't deny them, okay? I'm not telling you to do anything like that. You have to feel your emotions, but trust and know that whatever is going on, it's going to come out for the best. Yeah, he tells me how, again, he's telling me how much he loves you. And he says everything is going to be fine. He's very reassuring, very supportive, very encouraging.
Does he have a nickname?
Yeah, he's not saying that right now. Sometimes they'll say them and sometimes they don't. So, and if I ask him, then I'll start thinking, and then it doesn't work so well. So, okay. Okay, good. Yeah, he says he wants to remind you to make sure you're talking to him. Okay, so you talk to him tonight a lot. And I am getting my little bit of a warning where I have to wrap things up. So I'm going to have to let you go. So, Melissa, it was great talking to you today.
You too.
And good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
I'll send you lots of positive love.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. And that was Melissa from Vermont. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight and watching, if you're watching. This was my lovely show, Creating an Inspired Life, and I'm Colleen Vanderzyden. And what I'd like you to do for the next week, if you think about it, is if you're living in uncertainty, just take a little break, slow down, wait, allow everything to just go as it goes. Don't try to control, let it go. Just slow down. It's okay to do that. You don't have to fix everything, and you don't have to keep going. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And you can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com. And I will talk to you next week. Goodbye.